Say you want to enter into the Chinese market. In this video, I'm going to let you know the common misconceptions and mistakes for overseas brands and companies, just like you. My name is Fung Cheng, and I have been doing export and import business in China for over 10 years. Alright, so you may be already, been selling your products or service into the Chinese market, or you are kind of thinking about it. No matter what situation are you're going to be pretty interested in what we're going to discuss right now. I'm going to let you know the common misconception and mistakes, for overseas brands and companies, just like what are the mistakes and how to avoid it. By knowing these misconceptions and mistakes, you're gonna, be more aware of the problems, and by fixing these problems, you're gonna have a better positions, when you're selling to China. So we all know that, the Chinese market is huge. The consumption level, their purchasing power is rising every year. Look at their middle class, right? The percentage of their middle class is going up every year. Why we have to concern about the middle class? Because the middle class in China are the one who has the purchasing power, right? They are willing and they are capable of spending a lot of good money on good products, especially the foreign products. They like it and they really enjoy buying something that has high quality. Say you are a brand owner, right? I don't care where your product is manufactured. It doesn't really matter, right? Even though it is manufactured in China, within China, as soon as you get a good quality of product, then they're gonna like it. Alright, so let's get into the common misconception and mistakes. So the first one is they're thinking that the Chinese market is simple. China is actually, a big country, right? With a lot of population, 1.4, 1.5 billion of people. And there are many different cultures, right? Languages and customs across the country. When you see the different people from different cities, right? They basically have different set of values and cultures, right? What they like or dislike are pretty different. One simple example that I always talk about is that, say the spicy food, right? A lot of cities in China, they love spicy food, but the others, they just hate it. So you get my point. So it is very important for you to understand the different markets in China and tailor your products and market accordingly. And the second misconception is that they ignoring the importance of culture. The Chinese culture is very different than the Western culture. It is important to understand the cultural norms and value of the Chinese customers before you enter into the market. A lot of international brands, right? They are doing very well in the Western countries or other countries, right? They have been doing that for many years. So they are thinking like, people love my products and service, right? Then I'm gonna bring the same products and service into the Chinese market. But when you try to bring the exact product and service into the Chinese market, you're gonna face a lot of problem if you are failed to adapt to the local culture of the Chinese consumer. And the other misconception is that they are thinking, I can just do it all by myself, my company, right, without a local partner in China. Well, sometimes this is true in the Western countries or other countries because people are more independent, right, in their living and the business. But in China, it is different because we value more about the good relationship, a long-term relationship, the 关系. So having a local partners can help you to navigate the Chinese market and avoid making a lot of mistakes and problems that you have never think of, right? Because you have never been living in the country as many as your local partner. If you think you can do it all by yourself, you're gonna miss a lot of opportunities, many good opportunities, and then you're gonna face a lot of problems that you have never handled before. So, it is pretty important that at least you got a company or friends or any other, person that you can trust in China to help you handle things. In the past, a lot of foreign brands and companies, they just don't want to bother it, right? They either give up getting into the Chinese market or they just try to get exclusive distributors in China, just to let them handle everything for them. Nowadays, because of the internet and because the information is very transparent right now, you can actually contact and get a lot of people and companies to help you handle things in China. You don't need to get exclusive distributors, as what people usually do before. There's actually a lot of downside and disadvantage of getting exclusive distributors for your brand in China. I'm going to talk about that in the future video. So be sure to subscribe my YouTube channel if you like to learn more. Not being patient. It takes time to build a successful business in China. So try to look at the big brand, or the brands that are doing very successfully in China. When you try to look at the years, like how many years they have spent, into the Chinese market, they have been doing that for many, many years, or maybe over 10, 20 years. It's just like when you get into a new market, right? Either a new country or a new industry, it's going to take you time. It's not just into the Chinese market. So don't expect to see results overnight. You gotta be patient and persistent. So now let's talk about the tips for avoiding common mistakes that we have just discussed. The first one is you gotta do your research. So you gotta learn as much as you can about the Chinese market. If you got a friend in China, that's good. If you like visiting China, that's also a good thing. But if you don't even bother, to get to know more about the Chinese market, the culture, their values, their preference and stuff, then you shouldn't really get into the Chinese market. Because by, taking the work to get to know the Chinese market, doing your homework, the research, you're gonna see a lot of things that you have never think of. For example, you gotta, think of the questions like, is there any competitions, for my product or service in China? How high is the competition? Is the price that we are setting, we are positioning in the market, is it competitive? Do we have any competitive advantage? What is our sales channel or distribution channel? Are we doing B2C, for example, having overseas warehouse, located in China, and then we fulfill the products one by one to the final consumers, the end user? Or are we doing a distribution model, right? We are just want to find wholesalers or physical stores to sell our products. How much cost is it gonna be when we want to sell online in China compared to the offline, right? So the questions is going on and on and on. You gotta, do your research and to solve every one of it before you make your move into the Chinese market. You gotta understand what the Chinese customers, the consumers, they like and dislike. So the next tip is that you may consider hire a consultant, right? A consultant can help you to understand the Chinese market and avoid making mistakes. But of course, depending on your budget, the size of your company, sometimes I don't personally think that you gotta spend hundreds of thousands dollars, just to get an expensive consultant to get this information. You just need someone who has the experience, of doing your business, this kind of business before, and give you some guidance. Which makes it my next tip: start small. You don't want to try to do too much too soon, right? If you just started, right? You just started, and you already thinking that once my product, once my advertisements, my marketing gets into the market, people is gonna start ordering from us. People is gonna like our brand and products, and our sales is gonna skyrocket. We're gonna get a huge momentum. I know everyone must want that, but that may not be true. You want to start small and test the market, with small budget. As soon as you see some feedback, right, good feedback from the potential customers in China, then you can think of, putting more money into the market. Because remember, the Chinese market, the population of China is is huge. We're talking about 1.4, 1.5 billion of people, right? How could you reach so many people at the same time at the beginning, right? But of course, there are many ways, from my experience, business experience, that you can actually, with a small budget, to get your brand, your message to a lot of Chinese potential customers. But you really want to, do it smart, and you gotta know what you are doing. Next tip, be flexible. So be prepared to adapt your products and marketing to meet the need of the Chinese consumer. You gotta understand what they like, what they want, and what they are expecting, you as a brand from a foreign country. Because if you have failed to meet their expectation, right? So why they have to pay more for a foreign brand? They can just get, the same or similar products in China. As you know, China is a world factory. Say when you are, shopping on Amazon.com, a lot of product listing, they are actually, a product manufactured in China. And many of the products has very high quality. So you gotta, answer the question of why they have to buy your product as a foreign brand if they can get a similar quality in China. So this is it for today's video. There are lots of tricks and tips, for how to sell your product and service in the Chinese market. I would like to share more, so I'm gonna do that in my future videos. If you like this topic, this video, be sure to subscribe my YouTube channel. From my business experience, I've actually worked with a lot of international brands, to help them, get into the Chinese market. There's gonna be a lot of secret and trick for that. If you are interested to learn more about this secret that is not shared in my YouTube channel, you can actually go down to my description below, find the link, and then from there you can subscribe to my email list. I'm gonna send a useful secrets and tips, to my email subscriber every week. So if you're interested, be sure to subscribe to my email list. The link again is in the description below. So this is it for today. Thank you guys. I will see you in my next video.